Welcome to College Bound Success, College to Career, the podcast for college curious and college bound students and families. Together, we'll navigate the journey from high school to higher education and beyond. I'm Mark Mistalski. I'm an independent college success consultant. I'm here to share strategies, insights, and stories to help you make confident choices about college, careers, and your future. So let's get started. Today, I'm really excited because I'm joined by Bryce Mestas. Now, first, I will just highlight Bryce is coming from one of my favorite places anywhere, beautiful Durango, Colorado. If any of you know, my wife and I, we actually have a house in Durango, and we love to get back there anytime we can to visit the beautiful La Plata Mountains, the Animas River, and all kinds of great friends that we have there. So Bryce, we're going to have a moment to hear to speak with you, but I understand you've been born and raised in Durango, but you spent some time away when you went to college, and I think you have a really great story about your kind of college journey that I look forward to talking more about. Bryce works for a local social media company, is also a server in town in Durango at one of the hot chicken spots called Cuckoo's. Bryce is also working or has received a substitute teaching license and looking forward to getting into being a substitute teacher. Bryce has hobbies that include, hanging out with friends, going on trips, concerts, so live music, it sounds like, and anything to do with swimming. So being in the water, paddle boarding. I assume you spend time probably at Lake Nighthorse. Does that make sense?
I do indeed. Yes.
Yeah, I bet Lake Nighthorse and the Animas River. There's lots of great spots around there to explore. So, well, Bryce, thanks for joining me today. How are things going for you?
They're going pretty good. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to tell my journey to everyone.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me. I think you and I had a chance to talk a little bit earlier, and I think your journey, I think, might help people that it's going to really, one of the reasons I started this podcast is to highlight there's no one way, right, to do
Mhm.
college. There's no one way to do life. And I think that you have a really great kind of experience to share, and I love your positivity. So, with that, let's just kind of start off with Bryce. Who are you? Just who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Bryce Mestas. I'm 24 years old. I was born and raised in Durango, Colorado. I moved away for college back in 2019, and I ended up coming back because that was COVID year when it all started. And then right after that, I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and I'd been there for the last 5 years. And I just graduated in May, and so I'm back here now working. Yes.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations to you. You mentioned, there was that COVID kind of impact interruption, but you spent some time in Tucson. My nephew lives in Tucson, very different than Durango, right?
Yes. Yeah. Very
But
different in a good way, though.
absolutely, yeah, it's a great place. So you alluded to this just a little bit. Let's start with the college journey. So first of all, like kind of growing up, what was that like in your family? Was it, it was just an expectation, like, of course, I'm going to college, or what were some of the earliest messages for you?
I would say it was not like an expectation, but I'm actually first generation in my family for college. And so I just always wanted to. I didn't really know where I wanted to go until like late high school years. Um, but it was just something that was always brought up. And sometimes I even thought about actually going to the fort just because like of staying here for those purposes and stuff like that. But I'm very glad that I went. I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for those of you listening, if you're not familiar, the fort
Oh,
is
yes.
kind of a colloquialism for Fort Lewis College, which is a public liberal arts school there in Durango, Colorado. I worked there for 15 years. My wife worked there for 16. very well versed with it. Really unique school. I love that you shared your first gen. My wife was first gen as well. She grew
Nice.
up in a family that was actually dairy farmers
Okay.
in Wisconsin, and she, similar, like kind of navigating that by herself. So for you being first gen, who did you kind of like? Did you have somebody, a mentor, or who helped pull you under their wing and say, "I'm going to help you kind of figure this out"? Or did you have anybody?
Definitely. At Durango High School, I think each grade was assigned a counselor, and so we
Okay.
got to talk to them quite a bit. And then once we kind of all figured out that I was first gen, I got accepted into the trio program at Durango High School. And so we would meet, I think it was like once a month my senior year of high school, and kind of they would just help like fill out applications, like talk about like what I thought maybe my major would want to be and help me get like all my ducks in a row for that kind of stuff. And then also my parents did help. My mom did go to school actually at Fort Lewis for like a year, and then she also went to Pima Community College in
Oh
Tucson,
yeah.
Arizona. Yeah,
Hmm.
for I believe they were in Tucson for about a year as well. But then she ended up getting a great job without college, so that was awesome for her. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, so my parents definitely helped, but I would say at school a lot of the trio program was super helpful for
Okay.
me. Yeah,
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I'd love to talk more about that. And the reason is you and I are here, like we're talking at September 15th, 2025.
yeah.
TRIO is a federally funded program that it takes place both at the high school and the college level. And right now, there are changes going on at the federal level to reduce funding for TRIO programs.
Oh wow.
So, what did that mean to you when you say I was in TRIO? What was that like? What was the support structure? What did you gain from it?
I think that what meant the most to me is that I had someone, especially well, actually not someone, it was a team of people, but people to like help guide me in the right direction in terms of I mean, I don't know. I was 17. I didn't know what I was doing at all when it came to
Right.
college stuff. And so it was nice to be able to they were always there like all hours of the day, and they were a huge support and really helpful in basically anything I needed in the college application process, which was super nice to have
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you had that support because I know the impact. I know many people who have been impacted in so many amazing ways through TRIO programs.
Mhm.
Whether they were first gen like yourself, low socioeconomic, underrepresented, it really does make a difference. So I'm really glad you brought that up. So when it came to that point, like at some point, it was like, oh, college, like
Yeah.
this is an idea for me. How did you? There's 4,000 schools in the United States.
Yeah.
How did you start to navigate? Like, okay, where do I go? Where should I start this journey?
Yes, I knew I wanted to stay in Colorado was one
Okay.
of my main things. So kind of from there just depended on which like school I wanted to go to. And I narrowed it down to two, which was Colorado State University and
Hmm.
Colorado Mesa University. And then at the time, I wanted to major and I wanted to go to nursing school. And
Hmm.
so I don't know if it's changed, but back then, Colorado State did not have a nursing program.
That's correct.
Yeah.
CSU does not have a nursing program.
Yeah. Yep. So ultimately, I went with Colorado Mesa, and it was nice because that's even closer to home for me. So it
Yeah.
worked out pretty well.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so for you, there was what I heard were two kind of key things. I want to stay in Colorado, and I have an idea of a career being nursing. So you're right, that's going to immediately limit certain places.
Hmm.
At that time, nursing programs, they're not offered at every school. You mentioned like CSU, they don't have a
Yeah.
nursing program. CU Boulder doesn't have a nursing program.
Mm-mm.
CMU does. So just knowing two pieces, right?
Hmm.
In-state nursing automatically will get you a certain number of
Yeah,
schools
narrowed it
that
down
will
for
fit for
sure.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said CMU, I'm coming your way.
Yes.
So you started. Well, but let's even back up that. This is obviously a decision that's not just your decision, but your
Mhm.
family is also involved, right?
Definitely.
How did you man? How did those conversations take place with your parents? Um, especially in terms of, again, being first gen, how did you approach that conversation with them?
Well, at first, a lot of my friends and people from my grade were going to CSU, and so at first I was like, "I'm gonna go to CSU, like, I don't care that they don't have a nursing program, like, I'll just
Yeah.
transfer after I get my prerequisites and all of that stuff." My parents are like, "Well, maybe we should, like, think about that." I don't know. And, so ultimately we decided on, CMU because I think closer, it had the program I wanted, and, I have family in Grand Junction as well, which was another big thing.
Family support.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Junction.
they were my parents honestly were super supportive in wherever I wanted to go. Well, actually going back a little bit, my dream school was always University of Arizona.
Okay.
But it was just out of state and very expensive, and I didn't, GPA wasn't high enough type thing for as many
Mhm.
scholarships as I would have wanted in order to go there. Um, and so that was how I landed on I wanna stay in Colorado because I do love it here, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about eventually, I did make it over there.
I was gonna say that was a
Yeah,
little bit of foreshadowing.
yeah.
I love that you mentioned that. Okay, so you get to CMU. Walk me through that, because you brought in, that there was a COVID impact. So what was your
Yeah.
time at CMU like?
CMU was awesome. I loved all of my professors I had, which wasn't very many because it was only like a semester and a half in person anyways. Well, I guess they were still my professor during, but it was a little different, not the face-to-face action. But um I loved all my professors. I loved the dorm. Grand Junction was like the perfect size, I think, for a freshman
Hmm.
because it's not a huge city, but it's bigger than where I'm from. So that was cool. It's like being like a little bit of a bigger city. And then the fact that I had family there, it was an awesome first year. And honestly, I actually had an apartment for to go for the next year. And then
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit, and when I came home is when I decided I was gonna go a different route.
Okay. So you did 1 year at CMU.
I
We
did.
have the COVID. We have the COVID disruption. You come home and you think, okay, I'm gonna regroup, kind of
Yeah.
think about next steps. So what was the next step?
Well, so spring break of that year is when we found out that, we weren't allowed like, we weren't going back to campus, and I was actually in Tucson, Arizona at that time
Oh,
when we got
really?
the email, yeah. My we have some family over there as well. My great grandma had a house there for my whole life, and I had some friends that went to the University of Arizona, and so a few of my friends decided to go there for spring break because we had, like, different spring breaks, and, when I was there, we did a bunch of stuff on campus. We went to, like, I think what season is that? Basketball? I think it's basketball game, and, just got to see, like, the campus a little more, and I have always loved Tucson, and so when I was there, I was on a hike, I remember, and I got the email, and all of these things just went rushing through my head, and I was like, "Dang, this could be my opportunity to pivot here." And that's what I ended up doing, so it worked out very well.
Okay. Okay, so you're in
But
Tucson. You started thinking about that, and starting to think like, okay, maybe I can make this my next step, my
yes.
home. Um, so yeah, what take
Yeah,
me that next step.
I came home from spring break, and it was around April. I think it was probably a month after we heard that we weren't allowed to go back to campus that I went to go clean out my dorm because they had it, like, weekly, like, depending
Uh,
on what dorm you're in because of all of the
right.
COVID happening, and when I was there, I ran into one of the girls I was supposed to be rooming with. She was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna come back, like, might go other places, blah, blah, blah," and I was like, "Me too." I'm still deciding. But anyways, I got home and I knew that I wasn't gonna go straight to the University of Arizona because of the expense thing, and, so I started looking into Pima Community College, and I decided to go that route and move to Tucson, stay there for a year, and then, um, eventually I would have my residency, my Arizona residency, and I could go to the University of Arizona with in-state tuition, which was the
Yeah.
plan. And so, yeah, I packed up and moved in August. So only a few months later, and then I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So far you started at a 4-year school, Colorado Mesa. The COVID disruption kind of gave you a chance to be like, okay, let me rethink things.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you had this goal of getting to the University of Arizona, but you also saw, you know what, from a cost standpoint, if I
Mhm.
go down there and establish residency, that's going to help
Totally.
me. So it sounds like you went to Pima Community College. Now, how
I did.
long were you at Pima?
So, I was at well, technically it was supposed to be a year for, residency purposes, but I ended up staying 3 years at Pima Community College.
Okay.
And the first year, which because at first I was like, "Oh, I don't wanna go to a community college, like, I wanna go to 4-year," and, like, had that mentality about it. But then I realized that it was COVID and everyone was online anyways. And so
Hmm.
I was like, "This is the perfect time to just start there." And, which is eventually why I ended up transferring from Colorado Mesa University because I was like, "I'd rather be in Tucson than Grand Junction on doing online school." So, um, that was how that pivot was made. But I went to Pima for the first year and continued in my nursing prerequisites. And then about halfway through the second semester, or I guess my third semester at Pima, so a year and like a half later, I decided that nursing was not the route I wanted to go in
Okay.
at all. And so I finished up that semester and then I was like, well, shoot, need to probably figure out some other classes to try out and see like what I'm even interested in, what I like. And so I kind of just took a swarm of like 5 different classes that next semester, and I ended up really enjoying my marketing class that I took, and so I decided that was where I wanted to go with that.
Okay.
And yes,
Okay.
I did, that next year taking there weren't many marketing classes offered at, Pima, but
Hmm.
I just did, like, business classes, if that makes sense, in order to get, like, my prereqs done. So I think I took, like, 3 marketing classes, a few economics classes, and, a stats class I had to finish up in order to transfer over to the U of A. But it all
Okay.
worked out because then by the time that I went to the University of Arizona, I was finished with all of my prereqs, and I could just start my major classes, which was super nice.
Awesome.
And
So you did so you did prereqs at Pima. You basically demonstrated, hey, I am academically ready. I've got these courses out of the way, and transferred to the University of Arizona. So we've gone from 4-year to 2-year
yeah,
back
back
to a
yep,
4-year. You've now established residency.
yes.
And so let's finish it out. How long were you at U of A?
I was at U of A for 2 years after that, finishing or I guess starting and finishing my major classes, and so I started geez, I guess that was August of 2023, and I graduated May of 2025, and I think that's right in my head, but, and it was a wonderful experience. I was so glad to finally be there, and I'd been in Tucson for so long now, I already made a great group of friends, and a bunch of them went to the University of Arizona, and so it was exactly where I wanted to be, and I couldn't imagine graduating from anywhere else, so it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, that's part of the reason I was so excited to talk to you because your journey, I mean, everybody's journey is unique, but I love, everything from the support you got in trio in high school to, CMU, a 4-year, to Pima, a 2-year, and ultimately graduating from your quote unquote dream school, the
Yeah.
school you thought years ago you wanted to attend. So through, your diligence and support, here we are, right? And you
Yes.
did it. Now you graduated, it was a bachelor's in marketing, is that right?
Um, so technically Bachelor of Arts, I have a degree in Information Science and E-Society and then a minor in marketing through,
Okay.
Eller School of Business at the University of Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So with all of that, here we are looking back through this. What would be a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self, um, with regards to that whole college search journey?
I would say I would tell myself not to worry about the college standard, if that makes sense.
Mm,
I think back when I first started, I was so worried about going to the 4-year school, graduating in 4 years, like being done, starting my life. And obviously, from what you guys have heard, that's not how it happened at all. But
hmm.
now looking back, I'm so glad that it happened that way and I wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah. I think I'm so, it's interesting you shared that. I was talking to a high school senior just yesterday, in fact, and we were talking about colleges, right? Creating an effective college list. And what was kind of surprising, we've been working together for months and coming up with different schools in Arizona, including
Mhm.
U of A, but
Nice.
schools
Bear
in
down.
Arizona, yeah, that's right, bear down, schools in Colorado, and schools in the Southeast.
Hmm.
And out of the blue, this student asked me about applying to Dartmouth.
Okay.
And I asked, tell me more. Like, where did this come from? Because it
Hmm.
was so out of the blue. It was just no, this had never come up in any of our prior discussions. And to your point, what they shared with me is, well, I wonder, should I be applying to schools that have more name, right? More name, prestige, name
Yeah.
recognition. And first of all, I'm so thankful that he brought that up with me
Hmm.
so we could have that conversation, because I think that's why I want to talk about these things. Like, why? What's driving those decisions? Where's
Yeah.
that coming from? Is it external pressures? Is it internal pressures?
Hmm.
Things like that. So um, I really appreciate what you shared. So let's move um, from the college route to kind of now what you're doing. So you have a lot of different things going
Yeah.
on. Let's talk about the social marketing piece.
Yeah.
What do you do? Who do you work for? And yeah, tell us about that.
Awesome. So I work for Jessica Buell here locally in Durango, and she owns the company called Marketing Concept Squared. And so we do all of the social media content for our clients, which are local businesses around Durango. People listening may or may not, but you'll probably know we have like Grassburger, Zia,
Mm.
Sage, Cream Bean Berry, Frida's, a bunch of like local restaurants. And
Tasty restaurants. That's right.
yes, yep. And also a few other like random, like we have a I don't even, it's called Island Cove, if you know what that is, like a tiny home living park kind of thing.
Oh,
And
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And then the thrift store, the Humane Society thrift store as well. And so basically I just started this job in July, I think it was.
Okay.
And as of now, I'm in like the training part of it. And so
Mhm.
I am learning how to do like Google ads and stuff like that. And I actually just took that over, which is super exciting. But I go in and film because another girl that works with us actually moved to Oregon, and she's the social media manager. So she actually like edits all the content and like posts it on their social media accounts.
Okay.
But
Okay.
she is not in Durango anymore, so I go in and film it all, which is super fun.
Oh, all right. So when you say going in and film, you're also starting to learn about photography methods and things like
Yeah,
that,
definitely. Yes.
videography, and
Yeah.
you also do like production.
I don't do any of that part. She does all of that. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's definitely shot on an iPhone. So I don't know like anything super crazy about cameras or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, her name's Charlie. She gives me a shot list for each place, and I go in and basically film what she's needing, and then she compiles it all together and like makes the post in the reel or whatever she's making for their Instagram accounts. But hopefully soon, whenever this training period is over, I will take over some clients and also start doing that stuff. So that's super exciting.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what do you like most about it?
I think I like what I like the most is going into all of these places and like meeting new people and meeting like the owners of all of these local businesses I've been going to my whole life, and like learning more about their stories and stuff with them. Like for example, we Sage did a harvest farm dinner I think last week, and it's
Hmm.
a fundraiser for, I feel like the women's shelter. I could be wrong, but it's a
Okay.
fundraiser where the chef of Sage makes a meal and you buy a ticket and that all goes towards the fundraiser. And it's just stuff like that. Like I didn't even know that that was a thing, and it's so cool that a company that like we're working with and or for is so fun to be a part of, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the owner of Sage, Carly.
Yes.
Carly and I actually went through a, a program called Leadership La Plata together in 20, I think 2018, 2019. So I got to know Carly and Sage. You know, that was one of our go-to restaurants when we
Yeah.
lived in Durango. We always somehow managed to find our way there, and we really enjoyed it. It's a good
It
place.
is
So
very good.
yeah, I think that that opportunity for you to build your skills
Hmm.
while also, you know, seeing the value of you know, helping local entrepreneurs, local
Totally.
businesses. That's really a great opportunity.
I agree.
So so then you have other things going on, and tell me about what made you choose to add on the substitute teaching.
Well, one of the reasons is this is kind of funny. I have probably like 5 or 6 really close friends from that I met in Tucson, and I'm the only one that's not a teacher. We don't really know how that worked
Oh,
out.
really?
Yeah, they're all teachers. So, I've spent quite a bit of time in each of their classrooms and stuff like that around Tucson. And every time I'm in there, someone, whoever else is in there, or even my friends, they're like, "You should become a teacher. Like all the kids love you. You're so good with them." And I've thought about it for sure, but then I ultimately went the marketing route instead. Um, but I'm just kind of doing it, one, because I think it would be a really good experience for me to have, and I just love kids. I was a nanny in Tucson for 5 years for a family.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So I've been around them quite a bit, and I don't know, it was just like whenever I was nannying, I would help them with their homework, and I'm like, "Dang, this is kind of fun," like teaching them how to do that, and it makes you feel like you're like making an impact on them, which is really nice to have, and also good for them because they need the help, and especially education and teachers. We're so low on those all over the place, and that's a whole different subject. But anyways, but I decided to do substitute instead of like going back to school, just to see if I actually do really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go from there. I just got my license a few weeks ago, and I'm waiting to hear back from the Durango School District on an interview for that. So pretty exciting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So if they were to call you and say, we've got a substitute spot for you right now, like what would be the ideal substitute? What would you like to start with? What type of class, grade? What do you think?
I think I want to do elementary school. And if I had to choose a grade, I would probably say 4th grade because
Hmm.
they're old enough to, like, kind of know what's going on for the most part, but they're also young. Like, I don't personally think I would enjoy high school or middle school just because I feel like you have to be, which this is might sound bad, but you have to be more, like, in touch with a specific subject, I feel like, and I kind of just want to, like, teach it all. I don't wanna, like, emphasize on one, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Again, what a, you know, here we are. We've got the social and the marketing piece, becoming a substitute teacher. You're also a server, so
Yeah,
you have a lot
all over the map.
you're doing a lot of juggling for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
definitely.
So, thinking about that, if we, with all these different things you have going, what would you say has been like a key transferable skill that you learned in college
Mhm.
that you believe, like, no matter what path you take or paths, it's just going to serve you well no matter what you do?
I think the biggest one, there's definitely a few, but I would say the biggest one would be collaboration skills.
Hmm.
In college, I feel like we definitely did group projects in high school as well, but in college, and I don't know if it's just where I went, but we did a ton of group projects, probably like 2 or 3 a semester. And that was something that I am very picky when it comes to stuff like that. And so I was like kind of the type of kid who'd be like, no, I'll just work alone. Like I'd rather just work alone. And I learned to open my mind and that like ideas come from anyone and everyone and pretty much everything around you. And so it's super nice to like hear insights from other people. And I especially learned this in my marketing minor because we had a group that we were with the whole time and we'd like worked on every project together that we were given. And so it was super interesting to realize like how everything really comes together and like how all of these minds like think alike but also different and share so many good insights for whatever we were working on. And I think that'll be really transferable. It is already in my social media marketing job because there's a few of us that like all kind of work on it together and like we each bring little pieces to the table that like eventually makes the final product. And then in teaching as well because that's really what it's all about. You're collaborating with other teachers because you need their insights on what they think is best and which route to go and such like that. And also the children, like teaching them to collaborate with each other because hearing other people's interests and insights will help in pretty much any way and help to grow your mind as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I remember that was my educational background is mechanical engineering,
Okay.
and it was very much, you know, we had group projects, and back then it was always just let me do my stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I just do this alone,
Yeah.
right? Why do you keep, forcing us to do these group
Mm-hmm.
projects? And so yeah, it's definitely an important, it's a skill, and it's
Yeah.
important to learn as we go through, go through life, go through jobs. So yeah, that's a great example. Um, so what would you say has been one, piece of advice that you received from a friend, family member, a mentor, that has just really stuck with you,
Mhm.
that you'd like to share with others?
I think the best piece of advice that has stuck with me would be from my parents, and they told me back when I was deciding basically what I wanted to do with the rest of my life when I was switching majors and stuff like that, to do what makes me happy, and that really stuck with me because at the time, I wasn't happy with what I was doing, but I just kinda was, like, sticking it out because I didn't want to fail and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so I just think that if I could give advice to anyone, especially going through college, if you're doing a major because of or not even a major, doing anything in college because of what someone else is kind of pushing on to you or you're pushing onto yourself, like I think it inevitably just makes you a lot happier with your entire life, not even just your academic life, like because that's what you're going to be doing for the foreseeable future. And it's not very fun if it's not what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Chase happiness,
Yes,
right?
definitely. Not just in
Be
work,
Yeah,
but in everything.
yeah. It's important. Definitely, whether we're thinking about our lot, our personal lives, work, chasing happiness.
Mhm.
It's so important, and makes a
Really
difference.
is.
So,
Life's too short.
well, yeah, you got some good advice there from your parents.
Yes.
Good wisdom. Good wisdom.
Definitely did. They're my
Well,
biggest
Bryce,
supporters.
yeah. Well, Bryce, is there anything, that I haven't asked you, or that you haven't shared that you'd like to kind of make sure the viewers know about?
I would say one thing is I will agree that college is definitely not for everybody, but I think if you have an inkling that you would enjoy it or you want to try it out, you should definitely do it. And that doesn't mean that if you end up not going to college that or if you go and you don't go that you're not sticking it out or whatever. It's just I think that life is all about trying new things and really inevitably doing what makes you happy. But I am very glad that my journey went the way it did, or else I wouldn't be where I am today, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And that to me, hearing that, I'm not surprised that you shared that because of your own journey.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there were times, like you said, when you went from CMU to Pima, you I bet there were times like, well, is this the right move? I was at a 4 year. I want to get to the University of Arizona, but I love that you used Pima as a great springboard to getting where you do want to go. I hope a lot of people view that community colleges are amazing options, and they're everywhere. They're in every
Yeah,
state. Every
seriously.
state has them, and they're open enrollment and can definitely help people. I will say, I work for the University of Colorado College of Nursing. A large percentage, I don't know the actual number, a
Uh-huh.
large percentage of our incoming students started at community college.
Oh, wow.
It is very, very common.
Yeah. I think it's
So,
becoming more common, honestly, in the past, like, 5 years, at least from what I've seen from people I know and stuff like that. But I honestly do think it's just an awesome way to go. It's honestly just the exact same as a 4 year, except for it's a little cheaper and you get to meet
mhm.
even more new people, which is fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Bryce, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. What a great conversation. So let's go ahead. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on the College Bound Success College to Career podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, and I hope you did, please be sure to follow and rate and share it with someone who is navigating the college journey. For more tips, tools, and support, please visit my website at mistalskicoaching.com. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. And until next time, stay curious, stay confident, and stay boundless. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys.